Did SOG just create the place where time and space collide? Yep, that's right, folks. We have the SOG Terminus XR in the house. Welcome, folks, to another episode here at Gideon's Tactical. I'm your host, Aaron. And I really do feel like SOG has the potential in this design and is offering the potential for a point of entry where we're getting great value, great performance with lots of new features from SOG. One, we have a manual flipper, manual thumb-studded knife. We have their brand new XR locking mechanism and so many other features to take a look at in this design. So I just can't wait to break it down for you guys, show you what it has the potential and whether or not it's going to be the right EDC blade for you. So let's go ahead, get to it, and break this tool down. All right, let's go ahead and get right into this blade. Start out with the cutting edge, the blade itself, before we get into the locking mechanism and handle ergonomics and all that jazz. So right out of the gate, really excited about this steel, cryogenically treated CTS BDZ1 steel. Now I've used this on one or two other knives, very impressed with it, and is similar to Samvik 14C28N steel, which is a great, I wouldn't call it a super steel, but a good getting into higher end steels. It's definitely an upgrade over SOG's old AUS 8 that they used to use a lot of the time, and is better than any sort of 8CR. I like it better than 9CR, and I even like it better than 440C on most occasions, particularly on pocket knives. So this CTS BDZ1 cryogenically treated is an awesome steel. Super glad that SOG is using it, and I hope that they use it more often. And that steel will be rust resistant and will hold a good edge. It's a little trickier to resharpen than, you know, AUS 8, not by much, but you know, you'll have to put a little bit more work into it. Ceramic rods will tune it up really good, so, and really easily, so unless you've like dropped it on the concrete or just beat the heck out of it and it's all gnarled up, it will be very easy to tune up. And then if you have to actually put the edge back on it, it will take a little bit more time than AUS 8 or 8CR, but not by much, and it's going to hold that edge longer than those type of steels. And when we look at the other specs here on the blade, from handle to tip, we're looking at 3 inches even, actual cutting edge 2.75. You're looking at a thickness of 0.11, so just really, really good. Nice swedge right here near the tip. Really good, happy about that. Kind of a wider blade, so 1 inch from edge to spine. And as I look on Blade HQ, where we'll suggest picking this up in just a little bit, it does say a hollow grind. I'm not sure about that. It might be a saber grind or it's a very mild hollow grind. It's not a deep, you know, like we've seen some here on the channel, they're just really deep hollow grinds. It's a very, very mild hollow grind if it is, but I love the profile and design of the blade. Satin finish there, really good, nice belly, good tip, not too weak, not too strong. Really precise, just fantastic. I mean, it's a fantastic EDC designed and shaped blade, and I saw that with all of my testing and having EDC'd it regularly now for a while here at the channel, having a lot of fun with it. Had about 3 weeks in the pocket, loving the edge retention, the slicing capability, the grind angles, and it just really did a fantastic job in every way when I was EDCing it. I'm like, man, this reminds me of a lot of other more high-end blades that I own, like Benchmades and different things like that. Really remind me, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, reminded me of my Barrage a lot. So if you were to ask me, am I happy with the blade shape, the size, the grind angles? You betcha. All right, now we're gonna hit the XR locking mechanism. You know, the Axis lock patent has expired from Benchmade, and so you're going to see more companies being able to do this now and kind of taking their own design, their own tweak on the idea of a Benchmade, and I have one here that we'll talk about in comparison in a little bit, Axis lock. So the XR is kind of SOG's take on that, and so we'll look at lockup and deployment and all that here in this portion of the video. So what we have is an ambidextrous locking mechanism, as you can see there, with these nice tabs that just come out. So they're by no means obnoxious, but they are easily able to grab. You know, you don't want them to be so flush that you can't grab them, or so recessed in that you can't grab them. So they're on either side, so righties and lefties easily can grab it. You can see here that this lock bar, this lock pin right here where I'm pointing, is where all the pressure goes, where all the locking happens. So when you pull that back, it moves out of the way, allows the blade to fall free and depress into place. And then when you open it, you'll see it move ever so slightly to let it in. and it sits there very, very nicely. So very similar. So got a little spring in there that just makes it, you know, move back and forth into place. Not spring loaded. It's a manual deploying knife, which SOG's known for assisted opening, but it's nice to see a manual flipper. And we'll get to deployment and smoothness here in just a moment. But before we do that, hopefully we can get this guy to focus. Did just want to show you the stop pin right there as well. Nice and strong, really smooth. And as we move to the pivot in here, and I'm hoping this camera will focus, I love the Canon M50, which is what I've been using, but sometimes the focus point when we're doing small detailed stuff like this can be tricky. I think I'm seeing ball bearings in there. If it's not, it's the smoothest. Look at that deployer I have ever seen, one of the smoothest ever. I mean, you can just see how it just roll. It's got to be on ball bearings, guys. I mean, this thing is just like, wee, la, 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 and then whoosh, just sucks it right back into place. I don't even have to flick the wrist and it'll come, boom. There we go, every time. So the deployment is insanely smooth. And we are having a little bit of rock side to side. I don't know if you guys can see that. Super solid up and down, just a hair side to side. You could work on the pivot if you wanted to. I have no problem with that. A lot of my knives have that. The up and down is what matters to me, and the up and down is really nice and strong, and it's less wobble side to side than on most SOGs out there, like Tridents and those type of things. So I want to show you blade centering as well. Delicious and nutritious, perfect down the center. No floating that I've seen right or left, and I've been messing with this for a couple weeks now. A lot, and man, is it fun to play with. So on to the actual two options. So you have two options to deploy, and they are ambidextrous. You have ambidextrous thumb studs that are exactly the same on either side there, that you can easily hit, engage, and flip that blade right open. Again, manual, which is really nice. I like manuals. Assisteds are fun, don't get me wrong, autos are fun, but manuals is my jam. I mean, I love manual knives a lot. Don't mind Tommy, the trail dog. He's in the backyard with me here, and we got some birds giving him a hard time. So if he's barking a little bit, that's what we got. So thumb studs, great, zero issue there at all. Then we have a finger flipper right here that is really easily actuated as well. Now it works really nicely. It's angled really nicely. I don't have any problem with that. I will show you that the jimping is too aggressive. It's too sharp. Right here, particularly at the pinnacle, it is abrupt. Now I haven't like thrashed my thumb. I've had worse ones out there, but they should have just done either mild jimping or just none at all. I am going to take a Dremel to this after the video and slightly round off that jimping, just because it tends to, I can feel it when I dive into my pocket to get my keys out. This angled point right there tends to hit me a little bit, and it's not making the knife unusable. It's just not my preference, and it's a little too aggressive in my opinion for an EDC knife. If this was some sort of like full-on tactical folder, then maybe, but it's just a little too sharp and abrupt on this point right here for the pocket. And if I just take a little sander, a little bit, you know, a little belt sander, just hit it for 2 seconds, it's going to be perfect. But I wish they would have dialed down the jimping on the finger flipper. Now again, it just actuates the blade so nicely, and it doesn't hurt my finger when I'm pressing because it's just so smooth on the deployment, but it is just a little too sharp for my taste. But other than that, guys, fantastic. New locking mechanism. The XR locking mechanism is phenomenal. I have zero issue with it. Works fantastic. The ball bearings that I'm assuming they're using, from what I can see in there, is so buttery smooth. Two options for deployment: finger flipper or thumb stud. Make this knife a phenomenal manual flipper or thumb stud deployer for righties and lefties. All right, guys, let's go ahead and hit price here on the Terminus XR. Now, that's going to run you about $70 on Blade HQ, Amazon, links below, over to all the affiliates that we have. We're landing new affiliates all the time to give you guys great options for purchasing gear, and helps us to continue to do what we do here. Because when you guys click those hyperlinks, we get that small kickback and continues to fuel the channel. I purchased this guy. I spent the $70 on that. I bought the Benchmade, and this Benchmade was a gift from my cameraman, Brian. So you guys literally help the channel go, help create content, because you guys help provide the funds to continue the content going. So we have not only Blade HQ, Amazon, we got the knockaround sunglass link, sunglasses for the whole family, as well as having recently landed backcountry.com links. So that is another opportunity for you to buy apparel, gear through Backcountry, who has a lot of great deals and is a really cool website that we have now recently landed an affiliate with. So check out all those links provided in the description description below. The reason I have these two Benchmades is because this RX or XR, excuse me, I'll probably say that 50 times throughout this video, XR mechanism, their new kind of locking mechanism, and just the shape. So the first thing is it's very similar in size to the Benchmade Barrage. You can just see that in its kind of stubby feel. It's very similar in size and in weight class. So I just wanted to show you that. And this, you know, is a $150 knife. Now it has S30V steel, which is a better steel, and it's USA made and it's assisted opening, but it's a very similar type of shape and design. And then the reason I have a full-size limited edition Griptilian here from Benchmade is because I just want to show you the axis lock and its smooth deployment versus the SOG, because they're super similar, man. So here's the Benchmade. Pull that little guy back. Let's see if I can do it here on frame. Whip it into place, right? Good deployment with a little bit of a jerk. I can get that thing almost whipped in every time. There we go. And then with the SOG here, look at that. Boom. I mean, that thing just, I pull that back and that guy just, it's smoother. It's smoother than the Benchmade easily, and will easily, when I deploy it, don't even have to flick the wrist, kick that guy in, barely have to flick it back into place, sucks it right back in. So it's at least as smooth and easy to work in this kind of fun factor way of opening and closing as the Benchmade. The Benchmade will not, see, I gotta tap it to get it to go completely into place, and then I do definitely have to give it a really good thumb push and a little bit of a wrist flick to get it back into place. So I just want to let you know that, I mean, the level of smoothness and just action on this new locking mechanism from SOG is awesome and very good for what else is on the market that is similar and original in the axis lock that kind of started this whole trend long ago. Now SOG just went all out with this knife. The steel, the blade shape, the XR locking mechanism, all of that. I mean, I'm just digging it, and they went even further with the handle here. What we have is carbon fiber G10 overmolds. So we have G10 handles with a carbon fiber part there that you can see in the light. Really nice. So it's got light traction, not super heavy. And they're flat on the sides, great transitions. No sharp transitions at all on this knife, which is fantastic for an EDC blade. You don't want any sharp, abrupt angles or super heavy, insane jimping. That is the issue right there that I talked about, and this is doable right there on the top of the spine. It's not overly sharp. Actually, even if they had done that here, I think they tried to copy that, but they made it too small and just too abrupt, in my opinion. But on the handle scales themselves, G10 and carbon fiber for the price, for everything we're getting with this knife is phenomenal. Now, this thing is going to weigh in at 3.3 ounces, which is awesome with those steel liners that have been machined. I don't know if you guys can see them in there. They have been milled out, which is awesome. So, you know, 3.3 for this knife, this price, I mean, digging it. Now, the handle length overall, when it's closed up, is going to be 4 inches. From front to back there, and it has a width of 0.875 from top to bottom, and then a thickness of 0.45. So great, 0 issues. It fits my large size hands, as you guys know, really well. Locks me into place there. My pinky is plenty of room to spare there. It's not wanting to come off the back end. Again, that jimping right there gives me a good lockup. I got the finger flipper with a nice little cut in that really locks me into place, so I'm not going to accidentally slide up and hurt myself. There is somewhat of a ricasso that you could use kind of as a finger choil there, depending on the size of your hand. I could get in there and do some finer cutting if I needed to. It feels fine. It doesn't feel like I'm too far away from the blade with the design, and particularly, again, as an EDC knife. So good job, SOG, killing it with the overall ergonomics and design of the handle as well on this Terminus. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hit pocket clip. Love the fact that they blacked out the pocket clip. SOG has been known for years for making deep ride loop over pocket clips. No exception here. You do have the SOG there, the SOG logo. It's a little obnoxious, but they do that on a lot of their stuff. I would have liked a more, more simple. I like Benchmade's a little bit more there with that loop over, just a simple little logo or something like that instead of that big SOG. But it's, it's blacked out, it's loop over. You got a little bit of space there, so it'll fit over a lot of thicker, like 511 tactical pants, that type of thing. It is absolutely ambidextrous. You can get in right there, unscrew it, flip it over to the other side, which is great. Tip up only, right or left. So completely ambidextrous blade with the locking mechanism, the thumb studs, the pocket clip, the flippers, all of it makes this righty-lefty totally compatible in a great deep ride carry pocket knife, and at the weight class of 3.3 ounces, all of it. I mean, it's a great compact EDC folder, and the pocket clip adds to that. Well, folks, there we go. There it is. If you were to ask me, should you get it? Yeah. This thing is awesome, and I really am excited that I feel like it's setting the precedent for SOG. They have in recent years started to go in a new direction that I'm really happy about. Upgrading their steels, having options now with different locking mechanisms, really focusing on fit and finish with some of their higher end stuff, starting to make some stuff in the US. So I'm really looking forward to what this means, not only for this particular knife right here, with really the only hang up is a little bit heavy jimping on the flipper. That's it, and it's an easy fix with sandpaper or any sort of little belt sander or Dremel tool. You can fix that in a moment, and a lot of you probably won't. You won't mind it at all. I'm just kind of picky that way because it is just that good. So, and that's a coveted list to be on here at the channel, but it will be making the 2018 best pocket knives list this year. So guys, can't say enough good things about it, and I hope it's setting an awesome precedent for what we can see in the future from SOG. So thank you so much for coming over here today. Don't forget about those hyperlinks, including the new backcountry.com website link that we have below. You can get stuff from Cool now, like this Burr jacket. I love it. Had it for 2 years. Loving this thing. Totally digging it. But yeah, all the affiliate links below really helps us continue to do what we do here. If you're not a current subscriber, I invite you to become part of the GT family and subscribe, throwing up videos like this every single week. Check out the mailbag by putting hashtag mailbag and asking a question. You might get it answered in an upcoming video. The Getty's Tactical Show every Saturday, where we do discussions, interviews, topics, lots of fun, and just creating a fun community here that we can all grow together in. So thank you guys so much for coming over here today. And finally, always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and we'll see you out there.